What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It is Friday, October 6th, 2023, the first Friday of the month. And we are here with the weekly live stream here on the Torian Rain Reloaded channel. It's kind of crazy because even though this is the first weekly live stream that I do, this is the third live stream that I'm doing on my channel this week. Because y'all know I had those two other impromptu streams that I did as well. It's crazy how things just kind of happen, but you know, it is what it is. But before we actually get started, if you are new to the channel, welcome. If you are not and you want to just go ahead and hit that subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate that. Also hit that like and share button too. Have the bell turned on to be notified whenever I upload a new video and go live. Shout out to all of the members of the channel. Also, shout out to all of my patrons over on Patreon. And to my members over on Patreon, y'all will be getting a Patreon exclusive video tomorrow. I try to kind of space them out a little bit so y'all don't get overloaded so much. But I had recorded the video, I believe it was yesterday. But instead of me uploading it yesterday at the time I recorded it and then uploading it today, I wanted to give some space between the last video, which was uploaded the day before, and this most recent one that I just recorded. But definitely be on the lookout for that one as well. But before, let's go ahead now and do the acknowledgments of those who are in the room so far. We have Brown Bags, Hack Sign KT, DeMarcus Vaughn, Chris Vesey, Cool Spider, Stuns, Dark Titan, Richard Ginyard, Rachel Marin, Volvo to Love, Donna C, Savion Draco Zero, Denise Scales, Casey Malone, Letitia, 007 Spidey 2, Candy Person, Concerned Black Citizen, PD Chicago, B1, J Cage, DSM Sinister, and shout out to Denise for kicking off the donos for the day with the $5 super chat. She says, "Looking good in your glasses. Thank you." Yes, y'all, I am officially a part of the Blinders League. I'm not really blind, y'all, but I had to break down and finally get glasses. Shout out to Alana Trotman. Shout out to Iron B Will. But the reason why I had to get glasses is because when I was in high school, when I was doing an eye exam, just a routine eye exam, they told me I had astigmatism. And basically, they told me the shape of my eyeballs were like footballs. And there's two different eye shapes. You have the baseball shape, which is round, and you have the eyeball ones that are more like kind of skewed a little bit. They're kind of oblong shaped. And basically, they was basically saying because of that, not enough light travels into my eyes like that, opposed to someone who has more rounder eyes. But my vision was fine during the time because I was still very youthful. But lately, I've noticed that when I'm reading for long periods of time, sometimes my vision can get a little bit of blurred, and sometimes I have to lean in on things to read them. And that's when I knew that it's time to break down and actually get these glasses. So I did the eye exam a couple last week, and they basically said, yeah, it's about that time. So yep, here we are. I got them on Thursday. As a matter of fact, they told me it was going to take about 2 to 3 weeks. That thing didn't even take a week because I got the eye exam last Friday, and I got the glasses. Was it 2 days ago? They called me and said, "Your glasses are in. Come pick them up." So here we are. I actually have them on right now as we speak. And shout out to Kid Gravity. Shout out to Kid Gravity for being a member for 18 months and then saying and telling people to unsubscribe. It's a little inside joke, y'all, for those of y'all who don't know. If y'all watch Blacklight Revelations channel, which all of y'all should be doing, you'll understand the inside joke behind that. Pinky JYB said, can't LASIK fix that? It most likely could, but you know how much LASIK costs? That's not covered by insurance. That's like a cosmetic procedure that you got to pay out of pocket, or at the very least, you want to pay for some of it. See, my insurance covers. As a matter of fact, the glasses I have, along with the warranty, cost me like $122. Without insurance, it would have ran me like $350 just for the glasses. That's not including the insurance. So if I add in the insurance, it would have ran me over $400. So yeah, LASIK, Yeah, LASIK is not cheap. I've actually gone, like, speaking of LASIK, I actually have looked at like how the procedure is done. Like, I've gone on like YouTube and looked at different videos of how the LASIK procedure is done, and like, you know, how long the healing process is and all of that good stuff. But you know, if it's something that I want, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'll put it like that. I wouldn't be opposed to getting it done later down the line. You said you had it done and it came out of pocket, but it was worth it. Yeah, I mean, if you paying that much money, it better be worth it. You better have like the best. Your vision better be so good you could see here to the next state over. With all the money you got to pay for that. But yeah, I'm kind of liking the glasses right now. I've gotten so many compliments. I've seen how y'all reacted on here. I posted the picture up on my Facebook account. I posted it up on Instagram. I haven't posted it up on X because I don't know what the response will be like that. When it comes to X, I might post it on there. I'm not entirely sure. Casey says you had it done in 2009. I haven't had a problem since. Yeah, but like I said, whenever if I ever like the opportunity presents itself, I'll go ahead and look into getting it done. Like I said, I'm not opposed to, you know, getting it done, but I'm just letting it marinate right now that I actually am wearing glasses. And if push comes to shove, if I don't get the LASIK, I can always get contacts. Got about one more minute and we're going to go ahead and get started. We got quite a few topics that we are discussing today. So I hope everyone can stick around at least for the next hour and a half, because that's how long I'm giving it for this entire stream. Pinky JYB said at the time it was $3K when I did it, and it was able to write it off on my taxes. Cool. So you got two benefits. You was able to get good vision, and you was able to claim it on your write it off on your taxes. So you killed two birds with one stone. Kid Gravity said, did I see the Cody Heron? Yeah, that's actually going to be one of my topics today. And I made sure to try to find the most recent article pertaining to that. But if it's not in the article that I read, I'm going to ask or implore that you inform me of what the latest is involving that. But that is one of my topics today. All right, y'all. It is officially 6:10, so y'all know what that means. It is now time to go ahead and get this thing started. And y'all know, if there is ever any type of good topic to discuss, then I always like to start off with that. But this week we definitely have one, because last week, unfortunately, we did not. Well, 2 weeks ago, I should say, because last week was Freestyle Friday. So the first topic we have today, and it is a positive one, is involving Simone Biles again, because I think I talked about her maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. But now I'm here to talk about her again, because Simone Biles has just won her 20th World Championship since 2019. I mean, this woman's like an unstoppable force at this point. I don't even know why anybody else tries their hardest, but I mean, try your best, I guess. But let's go ahead and see what they're talking about in here. For the first time in 4 years, Simone Biles is a world champion. The gymnast led the Team USA, to a team title at the 2023 World Gymnastics Championship on Wednesday in Antwerp, making her first world title since she won 5 events at the 2019 meet in Stuttgart. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name correctly or not. It is Biles' 20th gold medal and 26th medal overall, further cementing her as the most decorated gymnast in history. Biles and Shilese Jones competed in every apparatus, while Leanne Wong and Sky Blakely filled out the team in the final. Brazil earned silver and France took bronze. The U.S. has now won an unprecedented 7 straight women's team titles in the World Championships. The last time a country other than the U.S. won the event was 2010, when Russia took the title. Biles posted a 14.800 in the vault despite not attempting her most difficult skill, a 14.466 in the uneven bars, and a 14.300 in the in the balance beam and a 15.166 in the floor exercise, with the latter clinching the title for the Americans. Those numbers bear out a total score of 58.732. For comparison, Biles won the 2019 World Individual All-Around title in 2019 with a total score of 58.999. The silver medalist that year had a 56.899. The performance emphasizes what has been increasingly clear since Biles' return to competition this summer. She is once again at the height of her powers, even after her struggles at the 2020 Olympics and the 2-year hiatus from the sport. Biles is nowhere close to finish in Antwerp either, as she qualified for the finals in every apparatus and will compete for her record-extending 6th world all-around title. Medals aside, Biles made her mark in history books by landing the Yurchenko double pike in the vault Sunday, which means the skill will be officially named after her now that she has landed it in an international competition. Now, that's crazy because I think she has another move that they named after her. Like, she has her own maneuver that's already named after her. So they just named another one after her that was named after somebody else. That's crazy. You know what? Let me see. No, I'm not even gonna play that because that's from NBC, and NBC. I was gonna play the video, but NBC be hating. So I'm not even gonna play the video of her actually doing it. Just know that she did it. It is the 5th skill to be named after Biles. Let me tell y'all, 5th. And Alana just put it right there in the chat, right as I was reading it. She has 5 skills that are named after her. Biles returned to competition in August with a dominant performance at the U.S. Classic, then took home a record 8th all-around title at the U.S. Championships. Prior to that, she spent 2 years working on herself, including seeking therapy and marrying Green Bay Packers defensive back Jonathan Owens. Once the World Championships are over, the next step for Biles will be the 2024 Olympics in Paris, with a chance to right what went wrong in Tokyo. Biles entered the 2020 games held in 2021 as the overwhelming favorite to win a second straight all-around gold medal, but instead struggled with the twisties. Biles dropped out of the team competition after balking on the vault and didn't return until the final individual event, the balance beam, in which she won bronze. Biles has already made very clear that she intends to compete at the 2024 Olympics, and she figures to again be one of the most followed athletes in the world as the athletes converge in Paris. I said between her and Sha'Carri Richardson, they are definitely going to have like 2 of the best comeback stories in athletic history. That's not the traditional athletic sport, like when you think of most American sports, of course you would think of like basketball, football, hockey, baseball, because their events are more centered around something more specific that's not yearly, so to speak. So definitely congratulations to her. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind. I mean, let's be real here. A lot of the people, a lot of black people anyway, who be watching the gymnastics, be watching to see what she's going to do anyway. Just like when it comes to track, we really watching to see what the black runners are going to do. And isn't it very interesting how when it comes to track, as far as the Olympics go, the U.S. team on both the women's and the men are pretty much majority, if not all, black. I just thought that was very interesting. I can't really say with gymnastics because the gymnasts are very diverse. It's a mixed bag with that one. But when it comes to track, both the men and the women, pretty much the people who represent the U.S. team are pretty much all black. Just the observation that I made. But either way, congratulations to her. And I can't wait to see what she's going to do in Paris next year. But now that we've gotten all of the nice, good stuff out of the way, now it's time to get into the nonsense. And the first bit of nonsense we're going to talk about is more of an update, mainly because they don't want to talk about it that much. But we're talking about it over here. And that is none other than Brett Favre, aka the new welfare king. I know it's been a while since we really talked about him, but this is an update that came yesterday, as a matter of fact. And it says Brett Favre to be deposed over Mississippi welfare scandal. In other words, he has to testify. Now, isn't it funny how Whalelock will have Brett Favre on his show to talk about whatever it is they talk about, which, by the way, I have finally made the conscious decision to finally block Whalelock on X. Finally, because I don't know how he has been popping up on my timeline, and I don't even follow this dude, nowhere even close, but I finally blocked him because he kept popping up on my timeline. I don't know why. But it's funny he brings him on there, but they never talk about this. No surprise there, because he ain't gonna throw he ain't about to throw PC under the bus. Cool Spider said, who was no. Hacksign said, who was lying? I'm talking about Whalelock, Jason Whitlock. That's what I'm talking about. But let's see what they're talking about here on People. Brett Favre is set to testify in a Mississippi lawsuit centering on the alleged misuse of state welfare funds later this month. The retired NFL quarterback, age 53, is scheduled to give a testimony under oath on October 26th at a hotel in Hattiesburg, according to a court filing obtained by the Associated Press and NBC News. I'm going to have to make sure that I remember that day. He was previously named, along with more than 40 others, as a part of a lawsuit by the Mississippi Department of Human Services to regain some misspent welfare funds. The lawsuit was filed after an investigation from Mississippi State Auditor Shad White found that approximately $77 million in temporary assistance for needy families funds from 2016 to 2019 had not gone to families in need, but instead were used to fund projects by Favre and several others, per the outlets. White said he discovered that about $5 million in TAMP funds were used to fund a volleyball arena at Favre's alma mater, the University of Southern Mississippi in Hattiesburg, where his daughter also played volleyball, per ESPN. Approximately $1.7 million had gone toward developing a treatment drug for concussions, which was supported by Favre, per the AP. White also claimed that Favre was given a $1.1 million for motivational speeches he did not make, while Favre said he repaid the money. The state auditor said $228,000 in interest was still owed, per NBC News. My office looks forward to hearing Mr. Favre's answers under oath about what happened to Mississippi welfare dollars, White told NBC News on Wednesday. I'm going to definitely have to keep my eye on this one. October 26th. And I hope they pull out everything that needs to be used as it pertains to this, because they want to bury this as much as they possibly can. Former Mississippi Department of Human Services official John Davis pleaded guilty to one count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and to commit theft concerning programs receiving federal funds, and one count of theft concerning programs receiving federal funds, according to a press release from the U.S. Department of Justice. Court documents said he fraudulently obtained and misused federal TAMP funds and funds from the Emergency Food Assistance Program, or TEFAP, for his personal use and benefit. The court documents allege Davis directed the Mississippi Department of Human Services to provide funds to two nonprofit organizations, which awarded contracts to various entities and individuals for social services that were never provided, per the release. A total of 8 people have been indicted in this case so far, with 6 of them, including Davis, being pled guilty, per ESPN. We're going to keep an eye on this, because I wish this was streamed, because I want to know what he's going to say. And I hope they pull out them text messages too, which are very public knowledge. We've all seen them. Y'all have seen them. I've seen them. When I was doing them as and the playlist is still there, y'all. The playlist is still there. So if people need to know where all of this kind of began, just go to my New Welfare King Brett Favre playlist that's right here on YouTube, and y'all can watch those videos in sequence. I was talking about this maybe for well over a year now, before people really started to gravitate towards it. And the thing is, people still are unaware of this because it's not pushed out there to the masses like that. I have to consistently check weekly just to see if there's an update that comes. So they probably won't have much more from Brett Favre until this trial, until he has to testify under oath on the 26th. which is in, of course, 20 days. Jay the informant called them financial thugs. Cosima said, remember when Wheelock used to wear, yeah, and then Charlemagne had told him to take that ish off, and he took it off. Now he's wearing that toupee. But yeah, that's the latest on the new welfare king, Brett Favre. Let's move on to the next story. Now, this one right here, I can almost be certain that a lot of people did not know about, because this one stayed way under the radar. And that's this incident that happened in Philadelphia. This is a 19-year-old was sentenced to at least 6 months in prison for a car crash that killed a Philadelphia officer. Now, this is another Operation Protect the White Boy in full effect. He only got 6 months in prison for killing a cop in a car crash. 6 months. And when you hear his name, he's not only a PC man, but the name, it sounds Russian, because his name is Alexsandr Melkinov. So I believe that name is either Russian or German, but I think it's Russian. Let's see what they're talking about on here. The courtroom was filled with tears as both the defendant's loved ones and the family of Officer Henry Gonski took to the stand. And I'm realizing his last name has a ski in it, so that pretty much tells me what I need to know right there about him. Gonski's sister Suzanne and mother Constance told the court Gonski was a dedicated public servant for more than 25 years. His mother testified, saying he would take her to all her doctor's appointments, shopping, and errand trips, and even took care of her when she was sick, since her daughter lives an hour away. This is what you call justice, waiting 15 months, Constance said. You know, it's like my son and her brother. He didn't deserve this. He was a good guy. He was a good police officer and was devoted to his men. Suzanne recalled how he would have tea parties and play Legos with their 8-year-old adopted niece, and read a letter to the court from the niece expressing how much she misses her uncle. Just slow down, abide by the laws. We all drive a little bit fast, but there's no need to go 3 times the speed limit. My brother, was the example. Unfortunately, nobody should be driving 3 times the legal speed limit, and took a life. Prosecutors say Melkinov, who was 18 at the time, was driving about 80 to 100 miles per hour in a residential area near Bustleton Avenue and Renard Street when he T-boned Gonski's car in June 2022, killing him. Gonski was just a couple blocks from his home when it happened. Defense attorney Shaka Johnson called it a foolish decision to speed, saying Melkinov mistimed the light. Through sobs, his mother told the court, mistimed the light. I guess. Through sobs, his mother told the court, as his girlfriend translated, that it was just the two of them after his father left them and went back to Ukraine. They said at a young... So who said that? Casey Malone, you got it right on the money. You called it. You said that what they probably Ukraine. He is. It says it right here. So he's from Ukraine. It says just the two of them after his father left them and went back to Ukraine. They said at a young age, Melkinov worked multiple jobs to support his mother, even driving her to her job to help her clean offices after he got off. In July, Melkinov pleaded guilty to homicide by vehicle and involuntary manslaughter charges. Pointing to his repeated pattern, Judge Lillian Ransom gave Melkinov 40 hours of community service at a youth center to raise awareness of the potential consequences of speeding. In addition to the sentencing, Melkinov has to surrender on October 11th. They said pointing to his repeated pattern, so he's done this before. It just never ended in somebody dying. That's crazy. And shout out to everybody else who is now in the chat right now. I greatly appreciate that y'all are here. We have 126 people in here. Make sure y'all go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't done so already. We are still in the very beginning stages of this stream. We got like about It looks like 6 or 7 more stories to go. I told you we're going to be here for at least a good hour and a half, and we ain't even 30 minutes in. But yeah, it says repeat offender. Yeah, it says repeat offender. But they get 40 hours of community service in only 6 months. Again, y'all want to know why I created the Operation Protect the White Boys series? This is a perfect example of that. And where are the so-called back the blue people? Where is the Blue Lives Matter crowd? That's what we need to do. Whenever something like this happens and they don't make no noise, we need to ask them where they're at, because every time something happens with black people and they love to bring up black on black crime, they love to say, where's BLM? Well, guess what? We're going to ask them this. Where is the other BLM to talk about this? And this was posted September 22nd, 2023. This was like 2 weeks ago. I didn't hear any of those conservatives talk about this, and they know who they are. But had the person who did it been black, oh, they would have been all over it. They would have been all over it if that was the case. I think Kid Gravity sent me something pertaining to the next story I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. I'm gonna see if this is okay, I see it here. I'm gonna open this up in a new tab, and I'm gonna insert that in when I as a matter of fact, we're getting ready to head there right now, as a matter of fact. So the next story we're talking about now, when I first saw this video, when I tell you I was so heated by what I saw, I literally almost squeezed the life out of my phone. I was so pissed with this video. But we're going to talk about, speaking of Philly, we're staying right in Philly because the next story is coming right out of Philly, where you had this individual by the name of Cody Heron. And some of y'all probably heard about the story by now and you know of his name, where he literally got off of his bike and jumped on this woman's car while she had a baby in the back seat and smashed her window. But I'm gonna let the video play for itself. Chasm of Fury said, I should eviscerate in wokeness on X. I think I've already blocked them. I've already talked about them several times. All right, so y'all just saw the video. There's an article that's going to come with it, and I'm going to read that soon. So y'all saw the video right there. Some of y'all might have seen this for the first time. Some of y'all have been seen it, or whatever the case may be. This dude right here, that Cody Heron, we didn't know his name at the time, got off his bike and jumped on this woman's car, and you saw what he did. He shattered the entire back windshield. And when he got off, you saw something fall off of his waist. That was a gun. That's why this woman right here who got out the car and started going at him didn't go completely fully at him, because he had a gun. And then he bumped heads with her with his helmet on. That didn't faze her at all, because she still went at him. And then she just pushed him off his bike and then leaned into his car. And that was pretty much the end of the video. What's going on, Valen? What's going on, Carla? The Double Mint Twins are officially here in the building. So yeah, there that is right there. And I'm gonna be honest, I did not think this video would go as far as to where it went, because it actually got legs. So much, in fact, that Cody Heron ended up getting arrested for what he did. And I'm going to actually play the video for you right here from the news about what they have to say about it. if it'll play.
Police are crediting an avalanche of tips for helping them lead to the man they say is the one seen in this violent viral video. Officers arrested Cody Heron overnight, days after they say he attacked a driver, kicking in that window as she and her 2 young children sat inside. It all happened as ATV and dirt bike riders circled City Hall Sunday night. Action News reporter Becca Hendrickson live at police headquarters tonight. Becca, police and prosecutors held a news conference on this just a short time ago tonight.
They did, Brian, and they said this was a difficult investigation. 26-year-old Cody Heron used an alias online that misled investigators. But again, they credit all of those tips for helping them find Heron, and they hope this arrest sends a message.
We're here today to talk about and discuss this vicious assault on a mother and the occupants of a vehicle.
It was Sunday night in Center City. A biker hops onto this Ford Fusion and smashes in the back windshield. In that car was a mom, her girlfriend, and their 2 kids. The woman confronts the rider who pulls a gun on her. Police have now identified that man as 26-year-old Cody Heron.
His violent, lawless behavior is totally unacceptable here in the city and county of Philadelphia.
Investigators arrested Heron Tuesday night on the 4500 block of East Stiles Street in Frankfort. His uncle says he was there when police pulled up on the block. Did you know that Cody was involved the other night?
Yeah, I just seen a video last night.
Police say at the home they found the bike, helmet, and 9mm gun. But tracing Heron to that home was no easy task. They say he was going by a different name online that initially misled investigators.
We don't know if he made that name up and it just happened to be people with that name and people gravitated to people in this area with that name, or that he was intentionally doxing or trying to take over that person's identity.
Police and the district attorney's office say they hope this arrest sends a message to other illegal riders in Philadelphia.
That we are going to continue to crack down on this type of behavior. It's the quality of life issues that have an impact on so many people in this city.
And Brian Heron faces multiple charges, including aggravated assault against all 4 victims in this case. Police also say as they continue to crack down on this illegal behavior in the city, they're hoping the public comes forward with more tips of these ride meetups. Live at police headquarters, Becca Hendrickson, Channel 6, Action News. Brian.
All right, so that's the whole video right there. And I think someone in the chat said they haven't seen his picture. Hold on, here it is right here. There he is. To the person who was asking, they never saw his face. There's his mugshot right there. They said they set his bail at $2.5 million. That's relatively high. Honestly, I wouldn't have given him a bail if that was just me. And if it was, it would have been higher than $2.5 million, which of course, you know what, 10% is $250,000. They said he is charged with possession of an instrument of crime, recklessly endangering another person, and multiple counts of aggravated assault. They need to get him for false advertisement because he was going by another name. They said the driver of the car is Nikki Bullock. She was with a girlfriend, their 5-year-old daughter and 2-year-old son delivering for Uber Eats when the incident occurred. And that's scary because, like I said, it was 2 kids in the back seat, and that glass those glass shards could have cut their kids. It says she was first sideswiped by the biker near City Hall. So that's where it started at. Because I was trying to figure out how did this thing even start. But it says she was sideswiped by him. And then she started arguing out the window. Then they started arguing back and forth. And then that's when he got off the bike and jumped on her car and then shattered her window, her back windshield. I was wondering too why they said that it was no easy task to get him, but then when they said he was going by a different name and they didn't have a clear look at his face, that's why they said it was a no easy task. But the fact of the matter is that they got him. That's his mugshot. He has a $2.5 million bail bond. His bail was set at $2.5 million. And as far as I know, he is still in custody, as far as I know. And then on top of that, he pulled a gun on her too. So identity theft. Thank you, songwriter. I don't know why I said false advertising. I mean, it might as well be because that wasn't who that his name was. But yeah, identity theft. Gerald jokes that she must have said some crazy things to him. He's not. No, it doesn't take much. Keep in mind, PC has some of the worst road rage ever. As a matter of fact, speaking of road rage, that's actually going to be the video tomorrow. It's going to be another one of those PC road rage stories. And man, when I tell you this story is so crazy, it is insane. Let me just give y'all a little hint. It involves a judge, a woman, a car, parked cars, and guns, and a shootout. That's all y'all going to get. As far as I can tell, I kid you not. That's what that's just a small summary of what tomorrow is going to be about. But it is one of those road rage. But PC has some of the worst road rage. If road rage was on the FBI crime stats, they would obliterate every other group, hands down. So I wouldn't be surprised if he started it. After all, they said it started off with him sideswiping her, and then they got into an argument, and then she probably said some things, and he got upset. He hopped off his bike and then jumped on the back of her windshield and then shattered it and then pulled his gun on her. So there's that. But Kid Gravity sent me this as it pertains to this same story coming from PhillyMag.com. It says the video shared by the media is obviously disturbing. However, here comes the bullshit. Our investigation has revealed that it is only a portion of a much lengthier incident that, when viewed in its entirety, casts Mr. Heron in a significantly different light. Here we go. By way of further information, Mr. Heron has never been in trouble a single day in his life. He is lawfully permitted to carry a concealed firearm and work 6 days a week. Who gives a damn? We are looking forward to presenting a clearer picture as to who Mr. Heron is at upcoming court hearings. Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Operation Protect the White Boy strikes again. Man, I don't know what it is. I don't know if the universe was tapping me on the shoulder and told me to start doing these type of stories and call it and label it Operation Protect the White Boy. Because white privilege, everybody uses that. I said, I like to do my own little thing. So here we are. If they don't knock it off, I don't care if he works 6 days a week. There's a lot of people that work 6 days a week. It don't make them want to get off their bike and smash somebody's back windshield after you swipe them and then pull a gun on them. Again, PC likes to pretend like they don't have all these privileges in the world, but they do. Oh, but they do. And it doesn't matter what this little statement right here is saying. We all saw the same video. He got off his bike, jumped on this woman's car with her 2 kids in the back and her girlfriend in the passenger seat, and smashed the windshield, dropped the gun, picked up the gun, and pointed the gun at this woman like he was going to shoot her. And then headbutted her with his helmet on. But you know what they're going to probably only focus on? That this woman got out her car and cussed at him and then pushed him over on his own bike. That's small compared to what he did and would not have gotten there if he would have just minded his damn business. Like, yeah, exactly, JK. They always have to have an excuse. If it's not this excuse, it's the other one. Y'all know what the other one is. Oh, he's suffering from mental illness. He's having a mental health crisis. We don't know what it is, but it's somewhere under the umbrella of mental health. If y'all don't get the fuck out of here. But anyway, that takes care of that story. We will try our best to keep our eye on that and see what other kind of nonsense they come up with. Now, this one's interesting. This next story is very interesting because I just did a live stream, an impromptu live stream the other day, and shout out to everybody that came through. It was a lot of people up in there. What I was talking about, was the name of it was called "You Get What You Ask For." I was talking about Terrell Owens, Janine Chapman, Tamar Braxton, Jodie Turner-Smith, and K. Michelle, and their mating choices and the consequences of said choices. Where we have this story right here that's coming out of, where is this coming out of? Idaho. Shocking. It's really not. Out of Idaho, where it says high school students surround mixed race girl while spelling out the N-word in an Instagram post. Posted September 27th, 2023. You saw that. And by the way, look at the picture right here. This is the guys or the students. And I'm guessing this is probably, I don't know if this is the girl on the ground, but they have them all blurred out mainly because of their minors. Now, if y'all remember, there was a story that happened a few years ago, pre-pandemic, where it was a special needs black boy who got sodomized by some PC football players, high school, out of Idaho, with a wire hanger. That was one of the most disgusting, torturous stories I had ever heard. And I think each and every one of them didn't face really any consequences behind it. And of course, they tried to use the same thing with them that they're using with that Cody Heron, that, they're really good kids. They're, the usual BS we just went over like less than 5 minutes ago. But let's see what they're talking about on here. Several high school students in Idaho are facing disciplinary action after posting a photo on social media depicting them spelling out a racial slur with their t-shirts. The photo, which has since been deleted, was posted to Instagram by a student at Salmon High School Tuesday morning. Local outlet KTVB reported. In it, one student who appears mixed race is seen on the ground. So that was the one on the ground. As 6 others stand over her, all with letters spelling out the N-word written on their clothes. All 7 students in the photo are holding up the middle finger. This looks like a particular type of sector of adult film. I'm not going to say the actual word, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Troy Easterday, superintendent for Salmon School District 29, posted a video to the school's Facebook page saying officials are aware of the situation and investigation has been launched. As superintendent of the Salmon School District, I am well aware of the current situation happening with the social media post by our Salmon School District students, he said in the video. At this time, the administrative team of the Salmon School District is investigating this post and will keep the community aware within the legal confines of the law. While parents told KTVB that racism is an issue at the school, Easterday said he has not seen anything like this since taking his position. So this, to all of the people out there who are biracial, if y'all want an idea of why a lot of black people who come from 2 black people have somewhat of an issue with you, this is a perfect example right here. Now, all of these other students that's standing around her are PC, and she's the mixed race one laying on the ground. Casey says, "Time to grab the chair." So Yvonne Scott said, "Shouldn't this be considered a hate crime?" It should be. It definitely should be. Will it, though, is another story. I think it's safe to say we know how this girl gets down. Songwriter Sonny said, "Not all of us light-skinned people are people." I'm not saying all of you. There are some of y'all that are on code, and I know some of y'all will not do that. At least the ones who are over here aren't going to do that. But the rest of them, Yeah. And like I said, she's just as complicit. Like she's very comfortable. Like she's laid down in a particular pose too. It's one of those poses that where to the young male would see as enticing. And they say they're facing disciplinary action. What disciplinary action exactly are they talking about? Because anyone could just say disciplinary action and this is very vague and we don't know what it is. And to those of y'all who said GG, yes, that is the type of films I'm talking about. I just can't and won't say it on here. But yes, that's the type of film that I'm talking about. To stay positive, just say I'm sorry. Yeah, probably. Like just like do some little small statement, some little apology, and then it'll just all go away. Atelian said her black parent has failed her. I would say that he failed before he even had her conceived. He or she, whoever. And again, this is Idaho. How many black people are living in Idaho? Cosmo said this is what Doja Cat in her childhood would have done. She probably would have. She probably would have. But anyway, let's go on to the next story. Now, this one right here is crazy. This one right here was crazy, but this is all the more reasons why y'all need, all of us need to protect ourselves, especially black women, if you are living alone or anything like of that nature. Where we have this individual by the name of Dominic Austin. Now, many of y'all have seen the video. It was this white guy that went up to this woman's apartment. It was a black woman, to her apartment and started banging on the door. Then he started stabbing on the door and saying that he was threatening to violate her and all types of stuff. And it was all caught on the Ring camera out of Portland, Oregon. Dominic Austin, who was accused of harassing his black neighbors at a Gresham apartment, was indicted by the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office on 33 charges. Austin, age 19. What do I tell you about them age ranges? 18 to 22, maybe sometimes to 24. Is accused of harassing his neighbors, which was caught on video by their Ring security camera, as well as violating a stalking order. In the videos, Austin appears to be seen pounding on the door with a knife, saying slurs and making threats of violations. New Brittany Smith, who lives in the apartment with her mother, shared the impact that the threats had on their everyday life. You have to make sure to look outside your peephole. You look at your Ring camera before you exit your home. Honestly, it's like you live inside of a jail or something. According to Smith, they reported the incident on June 30th, but nothing ever happened. It would take several months and many more reports before Austin was finally evicted on September 8th. Now, peep that. They said they reported the incident on June 30th, but it wasn't until September 8th that they finally evicted him, which means he probably was most likely terrorizing them weekly, at least, for the next couple of months. Upon reviewing evidence, the DA brought the case to the grand jury, and now Austin faces charges including 3 counts of first-degree attempted burglary, 4 counts of unlawful use of a weapon, 13 counts of menacing, 3 counts of second-degree bias crime, and 10 counts of violating a court stalking protective order, no hate crime mentioned. And then I don't see anything in there threats of violations either. In my opinion, those are probably the 2 biggest ones. So there's no hate crime there. And there's no charge with him threatening to violate this woman. Carlos said he has terrorized other residents. I'm sure he has. And they need to step forward because that helps build the case even more against him. It says Austin remains in custody in Multnomah County on a $20,000 security. He needs to $20,000. That's too low. That thing needs to be increased or needs to be none there at all. I see y'all writing power tools in the chat, and y'all are right. You need to have that power tool on deck because you just never know. Now, if she had a power tool on deck, and with him, what he did, once he decided to, to leave and decided to wanted to come back, I'm gonna be honest, he might have gotten popped through that peephole. Who saw the movie Saw 2? That's a perfect way to do it. Who in here saw the movie Saw 2? There was a scene towards the beginning of the movie where they're first in the room, and they said on the card, "Do not attempt to leave this room." The dummy opened the door, and on the other side of that door was a revolver. And when he opened up that door, that revolver cocked back and blew his eye out. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And he don't even look 19. He don't even look human. Like, you see this picture of him right here? He doesn't even look human. Well, let's move on to the next story. And this one's coming out of New York. Shout out to all of my New York subscribers. Shout out to everyone who is from New York in this chat. I'm sure many of you have heard about this story. And shout out to Jay the Informant for the $2 super chat. He says, I haven't seen any Saw movie. I did see Spiral. You need to watch the Saw movies. They put Spiral to shame. Trust me on that. I would say that the first two are good. I heard the recent one was really good. I haven't seen the recent one. I might just find a way to watch it at home, to be quite honest with you. I have a method that I won't say on here, but I have my ways. But I might find a way to watch it whenever it leaves the theaters. But I did hear that the most recent one was pretty good. So this one's coming out of New York. It says, prominent Black New York City couple and guests humiliated in a backyard hose attack by a white neighbor. That sounds just like something straight out of Jim Crow. Now, it's funny because that's what they did in Jim Crow back in the day with the hoses. And, everyone attributed to being in the South. But the New York is far from the South. I mean, we don't have to pull out a map to know that. Prominent Black NYC couple and guest humiliated in a backyard hose attack by their neighbor. The incident has been compared to methods Alabama uses in the 60s to quiet down civil rights demonstrators. A renowned Black doctor is suing his white neighbor after he allegedly hosed him and his guests down during a party. This is, again, I have a feeling that this white neighbor is hating on the fact that he's living next door to a Black doctor and his life probably ain't shit, and neither is he. The incident has been compared to the methods Alabama officers used in the 1960s to quiet down civil rights demonstrators. Marcus Rosebrock, age 48, allegedly pointed his hose at guests several times and continuously increased the water pressure until they were soaked thoroughly, said Mina Q. Malik, the attorney representing the party host Dr. Yves Duraceau, and other guests. According to the Daily Beast, Duraceau, his wife, Claude, and 15 of his guests filed a lawsuit alleging the neighbor violated their civil rights under the Title 8 of New York City Administrative Code by claiming he interfered with their right to own real property within the city of New York. Malik told the Daily Beast that the couple had not held a backyard event since and felt like prisoners in their own home due to the trauma. Dr. Duraceau is well known because he was the first doctor in the U.S. to receive the woo-woo thing. Oh, that was him. Oh, now I remember him. Now that they mentioned this, now I remember him. The incident occurred when he was hosting a party for his sister, Rosevini. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Duraceau last year. Duraceau and Claude were hosting 15 guests in their back garden on September 17, 2022, when an unknown white woman allegedly appeared with a large, menacing German shepherd and demanded that the music in the backyard be turned down. Now, isn't that interesting too? Because that's very significant. symbolic historical wise too. A white woman allegedly appeared with a large, menacing German Shepherd. What did they also use against black people in the Jim Crow South during that time? Was a German Shepherd dog that they would sick on black people to just bite them and tear into flesh. When efforts to silence the plaintiffs and end their celebration did not satisfy the neighbors, the party ended abruptly and violently as a white neighbor, Rosebrock, grabbed his backyard hose and began hosing down the guests. Per the lawsuit, the scene is reminiscent of Birmingham, Alabama in the 1960s when white police officers used fire hoses to douse, attack, and beat African Americans participating in civil rights demonstrations to make them comply and disband. All the guests at the event were black or Latino. See what they did there? They had to do the black and brown thing. But guess what? When black people were getting hosed down, this group right here that's highlighted wasn't there. Just saying. All of them were prominent. I'm just reading the article, y'all. People of color, including lawyers from the Justice Department Civil Rights Division and New York Governor Kathy Hochul's administration, 2 bank executives, and high-profile music industry musician Rigo Morales. I was appalled and outraged to see water hoses and German Shepherds being used against, again, I'm reading the article, y'all, people of color in New York City in 2022, Malik said. I was in complete disbelief. Malik added that everyone who attended the party was left deeply scarred by the experience and felt degraded and humiliated and made to feel like they were no longer human. Well, you know what I would have did? I would have made them feel no longer human because I would have threw it right back at them. I'm sure your home has a hose, spray it right back. That's what I would have did. But I wasn't there, so. Plaintiffs are unable to use their property for peaceful assembly and are left humiliated, fearful, embarrassed, and degraded. They demand justice for the assault, battery, and civil rights violations. The lawsuit seeking unspecified financial damages said. Rosebrock denies all allegations, including the suspicion that his actions were racially motivated. Well, I'm very sure there's probably footage of this actually there. I'm sure there's pictures, maybe a camera or something. It's something like this doesn't just get made up off the top of somebody's head. But like I said, had it been me and it was my party, we are one of 2 things is getting thrown: an object or these hands. I wouldn't even care what the consequences are, because at the end of the day, I would have felt good knowing I got my revenge. And one thing I've said, now I don't think I've said it on here, I might have said it on Rob's channel. We do not have an active anti-black hate crime bill in place. So we have to enact our own. Look at what happened in Alabama back in August. So that's just me. But again, it's me. I wasn't there. So yeah. Let's move on to the next story. And this one is coming out of my state, out of Baltimore. And this one happened at Morgan State University. I'm sure many of you have heard about this because it pretty much made national news by this point, where there was a mass shooting that happened at Morgan State. And in case y'all don't know, Morgan State is an HBCU, and it is in Baltimore, Maryland. Never been to the campus, but I know some people who went to school there. And like I said, there was this week is their homecoming week. And basically what happened was 5 people got shot. None died, thank God. But 5 people got shot, and they're still looking for the people who did it. I believe that the where my cursor is, 1, 2, 3 right here are the ones that they're looking for, but they still haven't gotten them yet. And this is the most recent article. It was posted today, and they have a $9,000 reward offered for any information that'll lead to an arrest of all 3 of these individuals. It says there is now A $9,000 reward being offered in connection to the Morgan State University shooting occurred on Sunday as police continue to search for 2 suspects. So they're looking for 2. On Friday, the Baltimore Department held a press conference with Morgan State University leaders, Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott, and other law enforcement partners to provide an update on the Morgan State community regarding this week's shooting on the campus. Commissioner Richard Worley, Baltimore Police Department, Morgan State University Police Chief Lance Hatcher, Morgan State University President David Wilson joined Mayor Scott at the press conference earlier this week. The Baltimore Police Department are searching for people of interest in the shooting incident that left 5 people injured at Morgan State University on Tuesday night. It says on Wednesday, police on the Baltimore Police Department released a video showing 4 people. Morgan State University issued a statement Wednesday saying for the first time in the university's history, all activities planned around homecoming will either be canceled or postponed until those responsible for the shooting have been taken into custody. Yes. So this week was Morgan State's homecoming. Carla said your nephew goes to Morgan State. Have you reached out to your nephew to see how he's doing? And that's crazy. It happened during their homecoming. I said, imagine the people that had to travel from out of town for this. They spent all that money and all the money that they put into the homecoming. Now, hopefully it's just they can just postpone it and they can just schedule it and have it later on. Because it's like that's a lot of money and time that got thrown into this, that got wasted. It got thrown. Homecoming, I don't know about y'all, but homecoming at an HBCU hits real different. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna be going to my homecoming this year in about 2 weeks. As a matter of fact, 2 weeks from yesterday, because I'm going on the 19th. Because I haven't been to my homecoming since 2019. But those homecomings hit real different. So I could imagine how mad those students were with this situation and upset at the same time because, their fellow students, maybe a friend or an associate got hit by a stray. But like I said, luckily, there was no casualties. Tillion07 said you heard that the shooters with some dusties. Yeah, they were. I said when I heard about this, I said I don't want to jump the gun, but I won't be surprised if they were black. The reason why I said I don't want to jump the gun is because I keep thinking about Ryan Palmer going to that HBCU initially down there in Jacksonville to do what he did, but then he ran off and ended up at the Dollar General. So that's why I didn't want to jump the gun. But then when I saw the footage, I said, yeah, my initial hunch was correct, but I didn't want to jump out the window and say they were or if they weren't. But yeah, they definitely are. But hopefully they catch them. They said classes were canceled for the rest of the week, and 4 of those victims are students. So 4 of the 5 that got hit were students, and I'm guessing another one might have been a faculty member. Carlos said as soon as he picked up, he said he's okay. I'm talking to him now. Okay, cool. Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, they do be lit. That's why so many people go to them. Even people who never been to an HBCU before be going to some of the homecomings just to see what the environment is like. Those are like the events that people really look forward to all the time is that homecoming week. I remember when I was an undergrad, those were the times. I'll admit, I mean, I'm already graduating now, so I can say homecoming week, that's probably the most consecutive I probably skipped class. Not saying I skipped every class, but if there was a homecoming event going on that was during a class that I wanted to attend, and especially because of what I was engaged in on campus, and I was a high demand for my presence at a lot of things, I found a way. I'm just being honest. I might be saying too much, but it is what it is. I graduated in 2011 and graduated cum laude. So apparently, I was still doing my thing while still doing my thing. But yeah, undergrad was pretty fun. I don't know what it's like now. All I can say is this. I think I did undergrad at the perfect time. But I would definitely but I will definitely be going to my homecoming in about 2 weeks. I can't wait to see who I see. Nobody knows that I'm coming down there. I said I won't let nobody let anybody know that who I went to school with know that I'm going down there until the day of. But that's this story right here. We only got 2 more stories left, y'all. Now this story right here, if y'all watched Professor Black Truth's Moment of Truth this morning, that's what this story is about right here, where you had this 11-year-old girl out of Chicago who got attacked by these two south of the Borderian women, and also her mother got threatened by, like someone said in the chat, one of these dusties. And it's crazy too, because I actually talked about the violence that was going on at the Mexican Independence Day parade in Chicago about 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago. But in that article, it didn't mention about this happening. It was only talking about the ones who got stabbed by those machetes. But it didn't talk about this because this happened during that time. But we're going to talk about it right now. An 11-year-old Chicago girl was physically and verbally attacked by 2 women from her Lawndale neighborhood. In addition to hitting the girl with a bottle and punching her in the face, the child alleges they also hurled racial slurs her way. I don't want to hear nothing more about no damn black or brown this or black or brown that. It's not there. It is non-existent. The incident is being investigated by the Chicago Police Department, but the 2 adults who caused injuries to Trinity Washington's right eye that requires surgery have not been taken into custody. Wow. The women were hosting a Mexican Independence Day day celebration on Sunday, September 17th, and used the N-word toward the black family. So no hate crime there, of course. That word shouldn't be used toward us. It shouldn't be used against anybody because that's a bad word, Trinity told local station ABC 7. The family claims that minutes after being verbally harassed, the neighbors assaulted the child because she didn't move her 3-month-old Yorkie named Barbie out of their path. Their attack first began with a bottle and escalated to use of them using their bare hands to pummel the middle school cheer captain. I looked up and a bottle was being thrown to my face. I dropped down because I felt something hard. She punched me in my nose. When she punched me, I almost blacked out and I fell again. My eye is in so much pain, my eye and my nose. The injuries were so severe, she was taken to the hospital and received surgery on the night of the beating. She is now preparing to go for a second surgery to mend her eye on Friday, September 22nd. Police report says the incident is being listed as aggravated battery of a child, but no arrests have been made pending the investigation. I might need to see if there's an updated article to this. The 6th grade honor student's mother, Wanda Porter, wants justice. I want justice. I want them to see her. Everyone has been so supportive, sharing the love, letting her know she is beautiful. I'm just heartbroken that this happened to her, Porter said in an interview. On her social media, the mother wrote, I am so hurt behind this. Please continue to pray for my baby. Washington said she is baffled as to why all of this happened to her. I didn't do anything. All I was trying to do is put my dog in the house. The girl maintains, noting one of the women stepped on the small dog during the altercation. Barbie survived being stepped on. Washington is hoping that things will get better for her too. Let me see if there's some more, like a more updated article to this, because I feel like it should be updated since then. Okay, I don't see anything updated since then. All of them pretty much all posted around the same time. But yeah, so you had these 2 south of the Borderian women attack this girl like it was nothing. Stepped on her dog. And like I said, the dusty that they were living with, because based on what Professor Black Truth was talking about, pulled a gun on the mother. So I think both of those women live with him, or that he's staying with them. I don't know what their living arrangements are. JK says not showing the faces though. Of course not. Exactly, Casey Malone. We have no faces. We have no names. Nothing. No arrest. Nothing. I'm going to say it like this. I don't know what the definition of this girl's mother of justice is, but I know what mine is. And it doesn't involve talking. It does not involve talking. And then on top of that, you got to think Chicago is being invaded with a bunch of south of the Borderians every week. Shout out to Afro because he's been staying on this, because he lives there. They are being invaded by them every freaking week. Like I said, y'all out there in Chicago better tool the fuck up. Because like I said in my video, what was it, yesterday? It's only going to get worse before it gets better. When they start putting hands on the kids, that's another layer of you about to get your life all the way screwed up. Now, the last story of the day is coming out of Florida, and it involves a black woman by the name of Yona Lubrin. Now, this one right here is another one of those stories where I feel like they are insulting our intelligence when it comes to a death of a black person in the fashion that it happened. It says, after police say black woman's hanging death is a suicide. A suicide. Keep in mind, this is the same establishment that claims that nobody gets lynched anymore. But a suicide. Again, they're insulting our intelligence. This one, no damn suicide. Florida community pushes for more investigation. Orlando community members and family are calling on police to further investigate the circumstances surrounding a 30-year-old black woman who was found dead, hanging from a tree. Yona Lubrin, also known as Yo-Yo, was found hanging from a tree in a residential backyard while police were responding to a quote-unquote unattended death call on Thursday, September 28th at about 7:40 a.m., according to the Orlando Police Department. Do they really expect us to believe that this woman hung herself from a tree? Knowing the history of black people in this establishment, most black people, if they do commit suicide and they already have it labeled as a suicide at the top, it's not going to be like in this fashion. Police cut the woman down from the tree and attempted life-saving measures, but she was pronounced dead on the scene. Police have spoken out about the incident while the investigation is still ongoing to address the quote-unquote false information on social media. They said evidence points to a suicide, but the final cause of death will be determined by the medical examiner. They always run to a suicide so they don't have to investigate any further. Yo-Yo's family believes police did not do enough to investigate, and they won't do enough because for them to label a suicide so quickly means that they don't have to investigate further. And acted under an assumption that she took her own life. Activists working with the Lubrin family say the incident echoes the death of a black man found hanging in a tree 3 years ago, which was also ruled a suicide by the same police department. Now I'm starting to think that police department is involved. Overall, they have not done their due diligence in providing more insight. Yo-Yo's sister Naomi Lubrin said to USA Today in an interview Thursday, "I feel like they messed up horribly." More than 60 people gathered at the Orlando City Hall Tuesday evening to call on the police to further investigate her death, as reported by the Orlando Sentinel. Naomi Lubrin said that many people showed up after seeing a video of Yo-Yo where she was found dead that was circulated on social media, raising questions about how she could have died by suicide in the backyard of a stranger's home. Let me read that again. No, Naomi Lubrin said that many people showed up after seeing a video of Yo-Yo where she was found dead that was circulated on social media, raising questions about how she could have died by suicide in the backyard of a stranger's home. So she wasn't even in her own backyard. She was in the backyard of someone she didn't even know, or they didn't know her. But this is Rhonda Snowflake's Florida, y'all. This is still the same Florida that Ryan Palmer went and slaughtered 3 black people at that Dollar General at the end of August. The video, which has been removed from social media but was reviewed by USA Today, show Yo-Yo with her chest partially exposed in a position that her family believes does not indicate a suicide. She's able to push her hand up and touch the house literally, Naomi says, so she can stand up. The person who filmed her body took another video, also provided to USA Today, of Yo-Yo's car outside the house. All doors are open with clothes and other items strewn to the car, around the car. The windshield and driver's door are smashed. What went on last night? The man filming says in the background. Naomi also described a number of red flags that she said police should still investigate further. OPD declined to comment on the investigation and is still ongoing, and therefore now have confirmed the following. The man who took the videos lives with another man in an efficiency unit behind the house Yo-Yo was found at. They were leaving for work when they saw the body and did not call 911. They did not talk to police that day. By the time Naomi arrived at the scene from her home in Fort Lauderdale, a few hours after police reported arriving on scene, police had already packed up and left. Police told Naomi that they did not search the inside either of the homes because they did not have probable cause. Text from Yo-Yo the night before showed she was with someone she described as quote-unquote creepy. Witnesses told Naomi they heard a woman making a lot of noise that night. They're not looking into this at all and just automatically rule it as a suicide. And now they're rekindling, so they don't know what direction to take it because they're getting so many contacts from the community. I'm telling you, I bet you someone in that department is involved. And that's a picture of her right here, for those of y'all who didn't know what she looked like. I really don't want to read the rest of it because it's like they keep saying like, oh, this is the evidence we have to say that it's a suicide. I'm not believing none of that. Like I said, when you know the history of black people in this establishment, hanging yourself from a tree is the last way most black people are going to go and say that it's a suicide. Right, JK, she said, so they recorded it and just went about their way. It's the weirdest thing. And the people who do stuff like this, they're very strategic to do it away from a place where there's no cameras around, so they don't get caught. And what better way to do it than in a area that's like not well lit, it's dark, a place with a lot of trees, particularly like more like a hooded, like a wooded area. But they said this is in somebody's backyard. I don't know if they don't have cameras in their back, but I'm like this. If you got a camera in the front, you should have ones on the side and the back. But I'm not falling for this. Oh, it was a suicide trope. They do this every time. I don't believe that this woman committed suicide. I just don't believe it. And hopefully her family continues to push forward with this because they're not going with that suicide narrative either, as they shouldn't. But anyway, y'all, that was the last story. I told y'all it was going to be about an hour and a half. I mean, at 7:20, got like 10 minutes to spare, but it is what it is. Shout out to everybody who came through to the stream today. If you are new and you subscribed, I'm glad that you are here. Stay tuned because there's definitely going to be more to come. Shout out to everybody who contributed to the stream today. Denise and Jay the Informant, I definitely appreciate it. Shout out to Kid Gravity for being a continued member of the channel. Shout out to all the members of the channel as well. Shout out to all of my patrons over there on Patreon for being continued supporters. Again, if you are a patron over there on Patreon, y'all will be getting an exclusive video tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. Of course, over here, you'll be getting your one video tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The premiere window will go up after this stream is over with. So with that being said, enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe, have fun, and be one.